Tom Brady recently signed a contract extension, but that hasn't stopped the questions about his future in New England. This morning, when asked about the possibility of not finishing his career with the Patriots, Brady had this to say.
You control the things that you can control, and things that are out of your control, you just got to go with the flow. And, I think I'm in a great mental place, great mental, emotional place to approach the season. This isn't the first time around. There's no point in worrying about things like that because there's so many what ifs and hypotheticals and this and that and this and that.
Boy, nobody's as good at Tom Brady as saying nothing when you answer a question. Greg, is this Tom Brady's final season in the NFL?
No, I don't believe it is.
Ooh.
I really don't believe it is, despite what's out there about his home being on the market and all of that.
Oh, is his house up for sale?
Yeah, his mansion.
Despite all of that, I just believe when I listen to a Tom Brady, I hear a guy who every single offseason, regardless of the outcome of the previous season, finds something to make him go even harder. I recall them in the Super Bowl in Houston against the Atlanta Falcons a few years back. Last time I saw him in person on the field. And it was something about him that just blew me away. He runs out on the field and he's screaming and yelling, "Let's go!" And I'm thinking, in year 12, 13, 14, whatever it was at that time, this man has truly convinced himself that he has not achieved all the accolades that he has individually and collectively as a team. That is why he's able to reproduce at a consistent rate every single year, because he has found a way to do what every player struggles with. Forget what I did last year, but remember that everything that I'm doing, there's an opportunity for them to say it's not good enough. That's what guys forget, and he has not forgotten that. So his response is, you know what? Every year is different. You have to be ready to roll with the punches. Like, he gets the way this National Football League works, but he also knows how special he is. And nobody is willing to go to the extent and the lengths that he is willing to go to, which is why he continues to be as great as he is, as old as he is. And he's defying odds because mentally there is no odd. There is no age barrier for him mentally. It's like, I'm getting smarter, I'm doing more with my body, I'm taking advantage of my age because I know more, what I didn't know when I was younger. So in his mind, as long as I'm not getting hit, as long as I can still throw the ball to my receivers and get them open and put the ball where it needs to go, occasionally have a bad throw that Rob's probably gonna mention.
You already know I'm gonna mention it because they come more often than not.
How do they come more often than not when we see the greatness that he provides? You're going to allude to games in increments. This is what you do. So I'm going to let you go and say that.
But before he goes, let me say one thing. I just looked. This is an incredible stat. The Patriots have been to 3 straight Super Bowls. Rob Parker, go for it.
I get that, but it's all about Tom Brady. And what people, when they look through these glasses at Tom Brady, his whole persona and how great he is, when you talk about that in the glowing terms, you just gloss over that he threw a game-losing interception in the AFC Championship game that somehow was called back because of offsides. You also looked at, in the second half of the season, the last 8 games, his completion percentage, 63% down from earlier in the first half of the season. He only had 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, passer rating of a 91.6. In the Super Bowl, he had no touchdowns, an interception, a fumble. He threw for 262, I'll give you that. But he wasn't great. If they don't win it, it was 13-3. If they don't win that game, the last time a guy put up these same numbers in the Super Bowl, right? That guy was shown the door. Peyton Manning.
But he won the game.
But they won. But Peyton Manning, I'm just saying, the last time we had a guy put up these kind of numbers. He was shown the door. Father Time is undefeated, and I know people want to keep acting as if Tom Brady, he defies the odds. If they don't win that Super Bowl 13-3 without Tom Brady's help, they don't win that game, people will look at Tom Brady totally different. Winning glosses over everything. That's why Tom Brady's able to continue to go on. Nobody ever brings up the 10 years he didn't win a Super Bowl. Do you know that they went 10 years without winning? Do you remember that, Greg?
I do.
But a lot of people don't.
Not without winning, okay? He was in the playoffs every single year.
They didn't win the Super Bowl is what I'm trying to say.
So now it is Tom Brady has to win the Super Bowl every year.
I'm just... No, that's not what I'm saying.
I mean, the if and buts were candy. How does that phrase go?
No, but my point is that Tom Brady somehow, because when they win, it's always about Tom Brady. And I get it. He's been here a long time in the league. They've won 6 Super Bowls with him as quarterback, but he always gets all of it. He's 4 plays away from winning 2 Super Bowls.
Who should get all of it then?
But Bill Belichick should probably get all of it.
He gets a lot. He's the greatest coach in NFL history.
Even more than Tom Brady. All I'm saying is, look at the numbers and what... There was a game in Pittsburgh this past year where Tom Brady tried to throw the ball out of bounds and couldn't even muster enough strength to throw it out of bounds. It was intercepted. It was intercepted. And I think the DB got it with a butterfly net. Because that's how
Tom Brady had a bad
went out. I mean,
I will back up Rob with some stuff here. So if you look at the advanced stats, a lot of his numbers last year were the worst he's had in 4 or 5 years. But I want to add this. They're becoming a run-heavy team.
Well, with good reason.
Because he's 42, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that leads to the question, is this his final season, and can they run for 3 years with Sony Michel, really good offensive line, 4 of the 5 guys are back? Can they just continue that for 3 years? I actually am on Rob's side here, Greg. I believe this will be his final year. Gronk is gone. You know, all his boys are pretty much leaving. Edelman's the one guy he's tight with that's still there. And I just don't see him playing for another team. I know a lot of people are floating now. Maybe he goes to the Raiders in Vegas. But he's linked to TB12, which is right there next to the facility. Brady's relationship with Kraft is too tight. I believe if Brady wants to stay, Kraft and Belichick will make it happen. But I do believe with Rob, this will be Brady's final season.
Because now all these guys are gone, Brady's like, I'm done.
You know, he's had a long run there, and all his crew.
So he probably hasn't had any teammates that have come and gone.
He's had a few, yeah.
Oh, he's had that.
And they come back, yeah.
And he's still there because he still has a desire to play. And Rob, you talk about all these opportunities that he missed or what have you. AFC Championship game, how did that end?
Yeah, Brady was kind of lights out there.
No, don't.
He played well, but the last time I saw him, he was in the last 2 Super Bowls, even the one he threw for 500 yards, everybody rants and raves about. It's not about yards, it's about touchdowns.
Well, that was on Belichick getting torched by Foles. Don't blame Brady for that.
And he also coughed up the football at the end of that game, did he not?
He
did.
So football, individual sport, team sport?
No, that's not the way we do it.
No, I'm asking.
No, it's not the way we do it.
Good. No, we can outlaw quarterbacks.
Individual sport.
We talk about guys and their rings that they win. Tom Brady gets credit for 6 wins. 2 Super Bowls Tom Brady's won, where he's thrown a total of 1 touchdown in 2 Super Bowls. His very first one and this last one. So all I'm saying is he gets credit for it.
Does anyone care? No, that's my whole point, because it's a team win. And yes, he's a quarterback that has had a remarkable career. So we're gonna
lucky careers.
We're gonna continue to magnify.
You can't let that slide.
I'm not thinking about Rob.
A lucky career, Rob.
We're gonna continue to magnify all the things that he's done because it is Tom Brady. But you can't sit here and tell me that, oh yeah, he's done after this year because Gronk is no longer there, or because he's throwing, or because his talent is dwindling.
Numbers. His numbers. You watched them last year.
Look, they're as a team.
I'm talking about Tom Brady's numbers were bad last year.
And they still won a Super Bowl.
Thank you, because they are a great team.
But if not because of Tom Brady, and I'm telling Father Time will catch up to Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
You've been saying that for 3 years.
No,
I mean, 3 years.
So this is what I've come to realize about Rob when it comes to Tom Brady. he's gonna stick with this because eventually, when he's sitting here and he's saying it, he's going to be correct because Tom Brady will be 45 and then he will walk off into the sunset.
I'll bet
and
you he'll never play at 45. That's not going to happen. Tom Brady threw that number out.
He did.
He won't get there. He won't get to 45. Not looking the way that I saw him at the second half of last year and at the Super Bowl. I do not believe he'll have one more year. That's why, and the same thing, we talked about contracts before. That's why they gave him that phony $70 million contract. That's none of the money's guaranteed so that they can get out. When he falls off the cliff this year, they can cut bait, and they won't owe Tom Brady any money.
But if he doesn't fall off a cliff and he's good and they go to another Super Bowl, then they got to pay him and keep him again.
But that's fine. But that's why they have the out, is because they don't believe it.
They had the out when they had Jimmy Garoppolo on the sideline wearing the same uniform. Well, they let that opportunity slip past them, and now they no longer have that. So just like Dak Prescott, and even more so than Dak Prescott, what do we look like without this guy?
Without Brady?
Without Brady, what are we without him?
We saw it in the Super Bowl. They didn't look good. Thank goodness for Sony Michel and the defense. What are you talking about?
They won the Super Bowl. He made one pass he had to make to Gronk.
But the defense is what won that Super Bowl. The Rams were one of...
I would agree,
The Rams are a top 5 all-time scoring team in the history of the NFL. They scored 3 points in the Super Bowl, and you needed a 90-yard
field. Here's the thing. Brady was not
It was about the defense.
But here's the thing,
about Brady.
Brady was awesome against the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and they lost because the defense stunk.
No,
this is football. It goes both ways.
This is how we operate. See, it was a defensive game in the Super Bowl. Nobody's talking about Jared Goff and their lack of performance in the playoffs and in that Super Bowl game and how prolific that offense looked all year. Nobody's talking about that. Why? Because it was a defensive game. We understand that. The defenses stepped up in that game on both sides of the ball. So we saw what it was gonna take. Now, once you see that, when you're in the sideline or in the locker room and you see that, you know what, offensively, we don't have it going. You know what? We got to do things differently. We got to make some different adjustments. That's why you have a guy like Tom Brady. That's why you keep a guy like Tom Brady. That's why he still is in the National Football League playing. Because he not only beats you with his arm, he beats you with his mentality. He beats you with his smarts, his decision-making. It's not always about what I can do physically that will impose my will, but mentally, what do I have and how sharp am I? Or can I outsmart you? Can I put my team in better positions to where we still have a chance to win? That's why Tom Brady will continue to play.
Last year in the Super Bowl, if I would have said to both you guys that the Rams would hold the Patriots to 13 points, there's no way you wouldn't tell me that they were going to win the Super Bowl. That's how it was unbelievable that Tom Brady was held to 13 points and no touchdowns, and they won the game.
But Rob, you wouldn't have said that because you wouldn't have thought that.
Nobody would have.
So how many? They scored what, 30 against the Eagles 2 years ago in the Super Bowl and lost. Like you're killing Brady too hard, Rob. You got to ease up on him. Unless this is becoming a bromance that I don't know about. And you guys are friends behind the scenes.
No, not at all.
So are you with him or are you against him?
I think this is Brady's final year. Yeah, I think he's done.
Yeah, you're just...
But I'm not hating on Brady. He's the man. Best quarterback in NFL history. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are the Clippers... Yeah, we're going from the NFL after 2 hours to the NBA. Are the Clippers making too many concessions for Kawhi Leonard? Wait till you hear what happened. We'll talk about that next.